Pisces, I need you to stop what you're doing right now because what I'm about to tell you will change everything about how you handle your emotions in the next 72 hours. The universe just dropped a massive emotional breakthrough card for you, and honestly, I'm getting chills just looking at it. Everyone thinks Pisces emotions are just about being sensitive and crying all the time, but the truth is, your emotional depth is actually your superpower, and I'm about to prove it to you with the most unexpected card combination I've ever seen for emotional mastery. I just pulled the Emperor for your emotional foundation, and I'm literally shaking because this is the opposite of what anyone would expect for sensitive Pisces. This isn't about suppressing your feelings. This is about becoming the ruler of your emotional kingdom instead of letting your emotions rule you.
The comments are already going crazy, and we haven't even started the real reading yet. You Pisces are feeling this energy shift already, aren't you? Drop a fish emoji if you're ready to transform your emotional chaos into your greatest strength, because what I'm seeing here is going to blow your mind. Listen, I've done thousands of readings for Pisces, and 78% of you struggle with the same emotional pattern. You absorb everyone else's energy like a sponge. You cry at commercials. You feel everything so deeply that sometimes you can't even function. But here's what nobody tells you about your water sign energy. Your emotions aren't your weakness, they're your navigation system. And the Emperor appearing as your first card is the universe telling you it's time to become the CEO of your feelings instead of their victim.
Look at this card closely with me. The Emperor sits on his throne of stone, completely grounded, completely in control. But notice his armor, it's not rigid, it's flexible. He's not suppressing anything, he's channeling everything. That's exactly what you need to do with your emotional intensity. For the past 6 months, you've been drowning in feelings that aren't even yours. Your coworkers' stress, your family's drama, your friend's heartbreak. You've been carrying it all because that's what Pisces do. But the Emperor is saying enough. Time to build emotional boundaries that actually protect your energy instead of depleting it. Here's the thing about emotional mastery that nobody talks about. It's not about feeling less, it's about feeling smarter. The Emperor represents structure, discipline, and leadership applied to your emotional world. Imagine having a filing system for your feelings where you can access them when you need them, but they don't overwhelm you 24/7. I'm seeing specific dates coming up for you. March 15th through 22nd is going to be your emotional boot camp period. The universe is going to present you with 3 situations that will test your new emotional boundaries. But here's the beautiful part. You're going to handle them like the emotional genius you're becoming. The Emperor is also telling me about your relationship with authority figures and how your emotions have been holding you back professionally. You've been so afraid of being too sensitive at work that you've been hiding your intuitive gifts. But your boss or supervisor is about to recognize that your emotional intelligence is exactly what their team needs. Oh wow, I'm getting a vision of you in a leadership position within the next 4 months. Your ability to read people's energy and respond appropriately is going to set you apart from everyone else. The Emperor doesn't just rule, he protects and guides others. That's your new emotional role. But wait, there's more to this emotional transformation story. Let me pull your second card for the deeper emotional patterns you need to address. The Ten of Swords just appeared, and I know what you're thinking. This looks scary, but hold on, because this is actually the best news possible for your emotional healing journey. This card represents the end of your emotional suffering, not the beginning of more pain. See all those swords in the back? Those represent every time you've been emotionally betrayed, every time someone used your sensitivity against you, every time you felt like your feelings were too much for other people to handle. But look at the horizon in this card. The sun is rising. Your emotional nightmare is officially over.
The Ten of Swords is telling me that you've been carrying emotional wounds from childhood that have been affecting how you process feelings as an adult. Maybe a parent told you that you were too sensitive. Maybe kids at school called you a crybaby. Maybe past relationships made you feel like your emotions were a burden. All of that programming is being deleted from your system right now. The Ten of Swords represents rock bottom, but also the foundation you're going to build your new emotional strength on. You can't go any lower than this. which means the only direction is UP. I'm seeing a specific betrayal from your past that's been causing you to question your emotional intuition. Someone you trusted completely used your feelings against you, and it made you doubt whether your emotions were valid. The Ten of Swords is showing me that this experience, as painful as it was actually preparing you for your emotional mastery. Here's what's happening energetically. Every emotional wound you've experienced has been creating an internal database of what healthy emotions feel like versus what toxic emotions feel like. You're becoming an emotional detective who can spot manipulation and emotional vampires from a mile away. But the most powerful part of this Ten of Swords energy is the release. You're finally ready to let go of the belief that feeling deeply is a flaw. You're ready to stop apologizing for your emotional nature and start celebrating it as your superpower. The universe is showing me that between now and the end of this month, you're going to have a major emotional breakthrough. Someone from your past might reach out to apologize, or you might finally have the courage to set a boundary you've been avoiding for years. Either way, you're closing an emotional chapter that's been draining your energy for way too long. Members in my private community have been messaging me all week about this exact energy shift. They're feeling this Ten of Swords completion energy, and it's bringing up so much old stuff to be cleared. If you're feeling extra emotional lately, that's not weakness, that's healing. Now let me show you the card that's going to completely change how you use your emotions as a tool for success. The Queen of Wands just jumped out of the deck, and I literally gasped, because this is showing me your emotional future, and it's magnificent. This queen represents confident, passionate, creative energy that knows exactly how to use emotions as fuel for achievement. Look at her sitting on her throne with that sunflower in her hand and that black cat at her feet. The sunflower represents your ability to turn toward the light, no matter how dark your emotional storms get. The black cat represents your intuitive wisdom that comes from embracing your shadow emotions instead of running from them. This is your emotional glow-up card, Pisces. The Queen of Wands is showing me that once you master your emotional energy, you become unstoppable. Your sensitivity becomes your strategic advantage. Your intuition becomes your business asset. Your empathy becomes your leadership superpower. I'm seeing you in situations where other people are having emotional meltdowns, and you're the calm, centered person who knows exactly what to say and do. You're not suppressing your feelings. You're alchemizing them into wisdom and strength. The Queen of Wands is also telling me about your creative projects and how your emotions are about to become your greatest creative fuel. Whether you're an artist, writer, entrepreneur, or just someone who wants to express themselves more authentically, your emotional depth is about to become your secret weapon. But here's the part that's giving me absolute chills. The Queen of Wands represents someone who has learned to love their fire and their water. You're a water sign learning to work with fire energy, and that combination is going to make you incredibly powerful in ways you can't even imagine yet. I'm seeing you inspiring other people to embrace their emotional nature instead of hiding it. You're going to become the person that other sensitive souls look up to as proof that you can be deeply feeling and highly successful. Your emotional mastery is going to give others permission to stop apologizing for their feelings too. The Queen of Wands is showing me specific timing around your 28th birthday or the 28th of any month. There's going to be a moment where you realize that your emotions aren't holding you back anymore. They're propelling you forward. That's when your real life begins. But we're not done yet, because the universe wants to show you the specific emotional challenge you need to watch out for. The Two of Swords appeared, and this card is giving me major information about your emotional decision-making process. See how the figure in this card is blindfolded with two swords crossed in front of their heart? That's been you for the past few months, unable to make important emotional decisions because you're overthinking everything. The Two of Swords represents the mental paralysis that happens when your emotions and your logic are at war with each other. You feel one thing, but you think you should feel something else. You know what your heart wants, but your mind keeps talking you out of it. I'm seeing a specific situation in your life right now where you're stuck between two choices. and both options feel emotionally complicated. Maybe it's a relationship decision, maybe it's a career move, maybe it's about setting boundaries with family. The Two of Swords is telling me that you've been trying to think your way out of this instead of feeling your way through it. Here's the breakthrough insight about this card. The blindfold isn't permanent, it's a choice. You've been blocking your emotional vision because you're afraid of what you might see or feel. But your emotions are trying to guide you toward the right decision if you'll just trust them. The ocean behind the Two of Swords represents your emotional depth and wisdom. The moon represents your intuitive knowing. Both of these are available to you right now, but you keep choosing the blindfold because making emotional decisions feels scary. But here's what I'm seeing for you specifically. Within the next 2 weeks, you're going to have a moment of absolute clarity about this decision you've been avoiding. The blindfold is going to come off naturally, and you're going to know what to do. Your emotions are going to align with your logic, and the path forward is going to be obvious. The Two of Swords is also showing me that part of your emotional mastery journey involves learning to trust your first emotional response to situations. You're so used to second-guessing your feelings that you've lost touch with your immediate emotional wisdom. Your homework from this card is simple but powerful. For the next week, pay attention to your very first emotional reaction to people, situations, and opportunities. Don't analyze it, don't judge it, just notice it. That first hit of emotional information is usually the most accurate.
I'm also seeing that this emotional decision you're avoiding has to do with someone who's been draining your energy. The Two of Swords is showing me that you already know this person isn't good for you, but you've been trying to logic your way into staying connected because you feel guilty about your feelings. Trust your emotional compass on this one, Pisces. It's never wrong. Now let me show you the card that reveals your hidden emotional superpower. The Ace of Cups just flowed into this reading, and I'm actually tearing up because this card represents your emotional rebirth, and it's absolutely beautiful. This is your clean slate, your fresh start, your opportunity to completely reimagine your relationship with your feelings.
Look at this overflowing cup with the dove carrying the communion wafer. This represents divine love flowing through you, not just for other people, but for yourself. The Ace of Cups is telling me that you're about to experience a level of self-love and emotional acceptance that you've never had before. The lotus leaves floating on the water represent your ability to bloom beautifully, even in the murkiest emotional waters. You've been through emotional depths that would destroy other people, but you've used those experiences to develop incredible emotional resilience and wisdom. This card is showing me that your emotional sensitivity isn't a bug, it's a feature. You came into this lifetime with enhanced emotional receptivity because you're meant to be an emotional healer and guide for others. Your job isn't to become less sensitive, it's to become more skillful with your sensitivity. The Ace of Cups is also revealing a new romantic opportunity or a deepening of an existing relationship. But here's the twist. This love is going to be different because you are different. You're not going to lose yourself in this connection because you finally know who you are emotionally. I'm seeing you attracting people who appreciate your emotional depth instead of trying to change it. Your vulnerability is going to become magnetic in the most beautiful way. People are going to be drawn to your authenticity and emotional courage. But the most powerful message from this Ace of Cups is about your relationship with your own emotions. You're going to start treating your feelings like beloved children instead of unwanted guests. When sadness comes, you'll welcome it and ask what it needs to teach you. When joy comes, you'll celebrate it fully without waiting for the other shoe to drop. The Ace of Cups is showing me that your emotional mastery is going to inspire creative breakthroughs too. Whether you express yourself through art, writing, music, or just living your life more authentically, your emotions are about to become your greatest creative resource. I'm also seeing that this new emotional relationship with yourself is going to heal generational emotional patterns in your family. Your courage to feel fully and love yourself completely is going to break emotional chains that have been binding your family for generations. This is bigger than just your personal healing, Pisces. Your emotional evolution is going to create ripples that heal everyone around you. Let me pull one more card to show you how to maintain this emotional mastery.
The Hermit appeared, and this card is giving me profound information about your emotional maintenance and self-care practices. See how the Hermit holds up his lantern to light the way? That lantern represents your emotional wisdom, lighting the path not just for yourself but for others who are struggling with similar emotional challenges. The Hermit is telling me that part of your emotional mastery involves knowing when to withdraw and recharge your emotional batteries. You've been so focused on being there for everyone else that you've forgotten to be there for yourself. This card is your permission slip to prioritize your emotional well-being. The mountain the Hermit stands on represents the emotional peaks you've climbed to get to this point of wisdom. Every emotional crisis you've survived, every heartbreak you've healed from, every time you felt too much and thought you couldn't handle it, all of that has been preparing you for this moment of emotional mastery. I'm seeing that you need to create a daily emotional check-in practice. Just 5 minutes every morning asking yourself how you feel and what you need emotionally for the day. This simple practice is going to transform how you navigate your emotions from reactive to proactive. The Hermit is also showing me that your emotional wisdom is going to become a source of income or recognition, whether you become a counselor, coach, healer, or just someone who helps others through your example. Your emotional journey is going to become a gift you share with the world. But here's the most important message from the Hermit. Your emotional mastery requires solitude and reflection. You need regular time alone to process your emotions without other people's energy interfering. This isn't selfish, it's essential for your emotional health.
I'm seeing you creating a sacred space in your home where you can go to feel your feelings fully without judgment. Maybe it's a corner with candles and crystals. Maybe it's just a comfortable chair by a window. The important thing is that you have a designated space for emotional processing. The Hermit is also telling me that your emotional mastery is going to make you incredibly wise about other people's emotional patterns. You're going to be able to see through emotional manipulation and drama with crystal clarity. Your emotional boundaries are going to become impermeable to energy vampires and emotional manipulators. But the most beautiful part of the Hermit's message is about your emotional legacy. The wisdom you're gaining through your emotional mastery journey is going to be passed down to future generations. Your children, your students, your friends, anyone who comes into contact with your energy is going to benefit from your emotional courage and wisdom. And you're not just healing yourself, Pisces. You're healing the collective emotional consciousness of humanity, one feeling at a time. The reading is coming to an end, but I need to tell you about the incredible emotional transformation timeline I'm seeing for you. By the end of this month, you're going to have a breakthrough moment where you realize that your emotions are your greatest strength, not your weakness. Within the next 3 months, you're going to be in a position where someone comes to you for emotional guidance, and you're going to be amazed at the wisdom that comes through you. Your emotional mastery is going to become a service you provide to others, whether formally or informally. And by the end of this year, you're going to look back at this moment and realize that this was the turning point where you stopped being a victim of your emotions and started being the master of them. The comments are absolutely exploding with Pisces sharing their emotional breakthrough stories. You're all feeling this energy shift, and it's creating a wave of emotional healing that's going to ripple out into the world. If you're ready to take your emotional mastery to the next level, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because I'm going to be sharing more advanced emotional alchemy techniques that will blow your mind. Your emotional evolution depends on staying connected to this energy. Drop a water drop emoji if you're ready to become the emotional master you were born to be. Your feelings are about to become your greatest superpower, and I cannot wait to see how you use them to create the life of your dreams. The universe has spoken, Pisces. Your emotional mastery journey starts now.